I've realized leaders of political parties like Mr. Gayton, Mchenzie, who are pushing this as xenophobic, a black on black hatred type of politics, trying to destabilize people of Africa and cause hatred and disunity because of xenophobic politics. Those type of politics are not going to be sustainable in the future plans of Africa. Let me tell you, I've never seen a time in my history, of course I've never been there before, but based on whatever I've read, whatever research I've done in real life from all people and the studies, whether Google, AI search, history books, everything, there's never been a time whereby African leaders want to unite now more than ever. There's never been a time, and I'm talking about young leaders with fresh minds, fresh thoughts, young leaders who are not colonized in their thinking, young leaders who didn't sign deals to sell out their people. Of course, there's still other countries who are derailing the progress because of the leadership we have. We see here in South Africa, we have a leadership whereby it's derailing the progress of the people of South Africa because maybe of the deals they've signed before, because maybe of the type of thinking they have. They subscribe to the colonial thinking. We see in Mozambique, the administration of Mozambique want to be uptight, doesn't want to give back the power to the people of Mozambique and allow new leaders to emerge. We see in Zimbabwe, the ZANU-PF, it's all leaders who are derailing the progress. Of course, not just here, there's complaints of different countries all over Africa about leaders who are derailing the progress. But in those countries, there's always an opposition alternative, opposition political party that is ready and willing to take the power from those old leaders and give it back to these people. And one thing, majority of these opposition parties, they subscribe to pan-Africanism, and pan-Africanism is all about unity and uniting. Many people, they see other countries, not talking about pan-Africanism, or leaders of other countries not talking about pan-Africanism. It doesn't mean the people in that country, they are not talking about it. It doesn't mean the opposition parties in that country, they are not talking about it. The puppet leaders might not be talking about pan-Africanism, maybe because they've sold out, they've done what. But the people in the country, the other leaders of other political parties that are oppositions in those countries, they are pan-Africanist in standing. Do your research, you'll understand. You see in Botswana, the previous government of Botswana before Mr. Boko, it was not a pan-Africanist type of government. But the opposition, the one Mr. Boko is leading now, was a pan-Africanist. Now he's in power. He's pushing pan-Africanism in power as the new leader and as the future leader. You have to understand, not everything you see is as is. You see in South Africa, the ANC is the leading party. Looking from outside, you will think, South Africa is not a country where it advocates for pan-Africanism. It's a xenophobic country. Until you go and read the manifesto of the MK party, they speak about integrating the economies of Africa. They don't advocate for xenophobia. Until you go and read the manifesto of the EFF, speaking about pan-Africanism. And these two are oppositions, they're not in power. So imagine MK goes to power. Imagine EFF goes to power. Whether EFF goes to power, MK party will work with it, whether you like it or not. Whether MK party goes to power, EFF will work with it, whether we like it or not, as the citizens or people from different political parties. That's what's going to happen, because majority of the policies are similar. And what I've realized with political parties from the left, political parties of black people, as long as they share many similarities that are going to benefit the people of the country, they will come together. Despite all their quarrels and all their differences, they will come together. That's why the EFF and the MK party, they're coming together in parliament to deal with the GNU, because they are projecting like they have the same policies. They stand for the similar things, you see. So the future of Africa is pan-Africanism. I don't see any future in Africa for xenophobic politics. Like, just That's just what I see. That's just what I vision. That's just what anyone can see that. If you can't see that, I don't know what you think about the future we're heading into. If you think the future we're heading into, black people will be fighting each other, throwing each other out of their own countries. That's not what is gonna happen. What is gonna happen is that more leaders, more young leaders who emerge into political powers, into leadership positions in their own respective countries, they are gonna wanna speak pan-Africanism, black unity, and not just black unity whereby one Africa. It doesn't have to be one Africa. It can be individual countries but speaking the same language, and it's gonna be the biggest threat to our enemies, whether Europeans, whether the United States. And we know we have a backing from Russia, we have a backing from China. There is nothing wrong being backed by superpowers. Imagine if we were backed by the USA. The USA would want to take everything and not give anything back. At least the Chinese, the USA, Chinese, the Russians, they don't just take, they also give back a lot. Look at a lot of things in South Africa. When you go maybe to economics and the markets, you will understand that China is the biggest contributor to the South African trade when it comes to products like clothes, producing whatever. It comes from China, produced in China, and it's benefiting our economy. People are running all over the place. People can even buy something to go and sell it. Buy something that you got from Chinese to go and sell it. There's Shein, there's Temu. These things come easy, cheaper because they're produced. Chinese are benefiting us to live a life simple. So they're not just taking and taking. They're also making our life livable. We can hire them to build infrastructure and beautiful things because they have the capability, they have the resources, and they have what it takes. So, and they also have the military base, because come on man, they have everything, the technology, they have it all. So we are backed by powerful people, the Russians. The Russians are the most scary people you can want to go against, and they are backing us in the BRICS. So imagine many countries in Africa, they have that backup from Russia. They have that backup. Botswana. Last time I checked, Mr. Bogo spoke about trying to destroy the military base that is already there in Botswana because it's a big threat to the SADC of Africa, the global south. When they talk about the global south, they're talking about us here in South Africa, Botswana, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Mozambique. We are the superpower of the global south. So imagine if we come together, of course not do illegal things and disrespect each other's countries. The laws of individual countries must still be followed. But imagine if we're speaking unity. We can go far in life. We can do a lot of things to benefit us. We can be the next superpower. Imagine we are the global south. After us, there's no other south. There's just an unending sea and some very few islands. Who want to stay in islands? We are the ones who are in the global south. So unity is needed, and Mr. Gayton Mchenzie doesn't have a future from what I'm projecting in Africa. His politics are going to die out. His politics are just for hype. It's hype politics. By next year, I'm sure they will have died out. His politics of xenophobia, foreigners go. By next year, it will be done. It will be done. Don't believe me? Only time will tell, of course. But it is what it is. Thank you very much.